if you missed any of the game last night, if you were on the Central Time Zone, if you were on the Eastern Time Zone, grow a sack and watch it.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So my main point is grow a sack and watch it. So if you didn't stay up, here's what you missed. Late in the game, this is the 13th inning. Manny Machado got on in the 13th inning, scored the game-winning run off a Cody Bellinger base hit. Previously in the game, prior to that moment, Jesus Aguilar playing first base for the Milwaukee Brewers. Manny Machado, the somewhat still newcomer of the Los Angeles Dodgers as he came over via a trade with the Baltimore Orioles, only 26 years old, did this when running out what would be an out at first. Take a look.
Of Aguilar, and on a routine play, now you know why Aguilar was upset. That's not the problem. That is.
So, sorry that if you think John Smoltz was taken out of context there, we had to cut the video for time. But Manny Machado clipping the ankle near the Achilles of Jesus Aguilar. So, on top of that, let me make this very clear, and then I want to show Manny Machado's response. Baseball is a game where the weirdest of weird happen with injuries. Like the most notable, in my opinion, of a baseball player is Sammy Sosa, baseball, sneezing, throwing out his back. Like the weirdest of weird things happen.
Yeah.
So for even this little thing that most athletes would be like, oh, that was nothing. To baseball players, it's a lot. So here's what Manny Machado told the LA Times after the game.
Manny, from your vantage, what happened on the play with Aguilar?
Huh?
What happened? Why did you collide with Aguilar there?
Why? I mean, you saw the replay probably, so his foot's on the bag, trying to get over him, hit his foot. That's dirty, that's dirty. I mean, I don't know. Call it what you want.
Here's how I know he heard him. My girlfriend does the same exact thing when I ask her a question, and she doesn't want to give me the answer. Huh?
It's huh, but you know, it was also added to it's huh. When you start like, act like you're more interested now, I'm rubbing my chin because what?
But then he did what? Huh? What?
It's like you do that to your mother when you're 12. You're hoping she'll go, okay, nothing, because you're hoping that she'll stop asking because she's so annoyed with you not listening to the question at all.
So Christian Yelich, who had a horrible game yesterday, by the way, I think he was 0 for 6 in the 2-hole. Excuse me. Lorenzo Cain was terrible. Yelich was not stellar. Yet he gave a good answer, and then we'll show you the great answer. First, in video form.
He's a player that has a history of those types of incidents. You know, one time's an accident, repeated over and over and over again. You're just a dirty player. It's a dirty play by a dirty player, and that's what it is. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him as a player, but you can't respect someone who plays the game like that. And it was a tough-fought baseball game, but it has no place in our game. I mean, we've all grounded out. You know, run through the bag like you've been doing your whole life, like everybody else does. You know, if it's an accident, it's an accident. But from the replay to us, it clearly looks like you go out of your way to step on someone, run into somebody, and it just has no place in the game. It really doesn't.
Christian Yelich, as I was listening to this, looks like the guy who, when he goes to an arcade, plays the claw game for 2 hours. So here's my last point, and then I want to hear JR on this. He did not say this in video format. One writer caught this at the end of that rant when everyone just happened to turn off the flip phones. Finally, as Christian Yelich walked away from a gaggle of reporters, he left no ambiguity about his feelings on the matter. F that mother effer, Yelich said. Where was that previously? Why couldn't I have that before?
Because they feel like that's going to be something you can't say or do. We know you don't like certain guys. We know there's a reason. You just gave us a reason why you don't like him. You said there's a history of a player like that. We know that.
Right.
So you can say it. Like it's this weird thing about not wanting to fire up the other team. No bulletin board material. Hey, trust me, I guarantee Yelich just said that on the baseball field.
Right.
So your opponents already know how you feel about them. So the media knowing about it isn't gonna really amp up the opponents anymore. Secondly, I feel like Machado is I'm a Dodgers fan, to give you full disclosure. Huge Dodger fan. I'm watching every second. The whole season, every second. So the thing is, he is an emotional guy. I remember with Baltimore, he was upset about the way pitches were being thrown at him, or some calls, the way pitches were approaching him, and he acted like he lost control of the bat.
I remember that.
And it flipped towards the third baseman, I think. And he's like, "What?" But he wasn't even like, "Huh?" Like he wasn't in an interview. He was like, it was a 50%. It was like yeah, for people who don't really watch very closely, yeah, I didn't mean to. And then to the guy he did to, he's like, there's a silent.
Or did I?
Yeah, no, there's an unknown, unspoken language where he's looking at him going, "Yeah, I did that." Because he wants to
Was that
know he
against the
did that.
A's? Thank you.
Yeah. So, and also this thing with Aguilar, he ran through the bag, kicked his ankle, and came back, and they had a nice conversation in Spanish.
They did.
And so much so that
I think Aguilar
the
said,
censors
you're my boy in Spanish.
they even bleeped something actually in Spanish.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, there was something going down.
All right.
So you think Aguilar didn't voice his opinion? Yeah, he did. So we know where it stands. So the worry about him possibly firing up another team, he's already done that, and
Right.
it didn't work out last night. We'll see what happens today. And as far as the dirty player goes, remember a few years ago, Chase Utley slid through the second base against the Mets, broke the dude's leg. I don't know. People say
Wilmer Flores.
people have called Chase Utley a dirty player before, and then it kind of just goes away. For some reason, this sticks to Manny Machado.
I think it's a little different because Utley was already established in his career. He also has the pedigree of, well, he's an old school baseball player making an old school baseball play, where Manny Machado is still not even 27 years old and is entering free agency, and also has the track record of, well, the rules change happened when he was like 23. So he was still young. That's the narrative, I think, that separates
there's
the two.
this weird, as you talked about the weird nature of injuries in baseball, there's also these weird unwritten rules, which some are changing and some aren't. So we got to keep up here. Because sometimes it was you can't finesse a home run. You can't throw the bat. You can't admire your work.
I think we've changed on that a little bit.
That's one of them that's
Thank
changing,
goodness.
right? And there's some that don't like it, but it's changing. That's
Right,
shifting.
like Chase Utley.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Or sliding through the bag, touching the guy. We had the rule change at home plate with catchers, of course, because of Buster. So it all goes down a certain way, but now we have this mix of it. And then so when Yelich says there's no room for that in our game, well, there used to be. I mean, which way are we going? We going old school or we going new school?
Well, I think what he's honing in on, which I concur with, is that there's no place in the game for that. For just like clicking the heel of a defenseless first baseman who's just trying to make a play. Machado's other defense was he was on the bag, I went through the bag, what happens on the field stays on the field. No, you had an entire bag to run through. This isn't Aguilar's first rodeo playing first base where he's like, I don't know, should I go in the middle or should I go on the... No, he knows exactly what he's doing, and so did Manny Machado. They both did.
Again, and
Can you admit it was a dirty play?
Yeah, it was purposeful, and I don't think
Yes.
he's looking to hurt him. He's looking to be like, here, get your foot off the bag. I'm mad about this. It was a frustrating game for both teams offensively.
Right, and it was
as
a
they went through the frustrating
frustrating play for Manny Machado.
Absolutely.
But
'cause
don't
you continue,
do it.
No, you don't do it, but sometimes, like I said, he's an emotional player.
Lorenzo Cain went 0 for 6, as I preface this entire clip. You see him going after anybody that's around the bases
He's a
at
different
all?
guy.
See him
But like
throwing
I've
his
said
bat?
before, you know what? There's dirty plays, and then there's dirty players. I see it as a dirty play, and then sometimes the bench is cleared. Sometimes you need
cleared.
people trotted out of the
Right,
benches.
right. They trot
strolled.
Nixon.
Yeah. And so I texted this to you last night when I was talking about it. Sometimes that provides a spark. And you know what? Maybe it was dirty. And he's the guy that you don't want to play against because of that, but you're okay with having him on your team because maybe he'll get you fired up.
Right.
Stuff like that sometimes just gets you going. It didn't last night.
No, it absolutely
But
did not.
you know, sometimes it does. And last thing.
Yes.
We're worried about injuries in baseball, and that's would be one of those cheap ones. Say he, turned Aguilar's ankle over that. I mean, we have pitchers throwing at guys because they hit a home run. When is that rule gonna change? When is that unwritten rule gonna go down where they're like, hey, I can't believe you did your job and scored runs, so I'm gonna hit you with this hard ball at 90 miles an hour,
Right.
95 miles an hour.
Right. Using the baseball as a weapon, obviously, we're also in agreement with.
Somehow those potential injuries are okay.
Right. There's also the argument that, well, maybe they lost control of the ball. We know intent when we see it, of course. I don't think that's ever going to be outlawed, however, because it's just too tough to differentiate between, well, did that one get away accidentally, or did he purposely throw at somebody. You know what's my favorite song? You could ring my bell. So do it, why don't you? Ring the damn bell. And download the TYT app. Available on Android and iOS.